Come on into the room, be coachable, teachable, trainable, post your city and state where you are catching this information from on today. I greatly appreciate it. My name is Grandmaster Martina Britt Yelverton, and today we're actually discussing the psychology of audience engagement. So if this is something that you're interested in trying to figure out what exactly the mindset of your audience is and trying to understand how to improve your audience engagement, I would greatly appreciate it if you would come on into the room, post your city and state so I can know where this value is reaching out here in this internet street, and that I can know who it is that I am speaking to. So again, that is what we're going to cover today. We're going to go ahead and run this intro and we're going to jump right into the information. Hey y'all, hey, Brandmaster Martina Britt Yelverton here, updating you about our daily live training and follow-up live open office hours. Join me every Tuesday through Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for live actionable lessons on building your brand from scratch. We'll cover everything from tools, strategies, and systems like Canva, StreamYard, Go High Level, AI technology, and more, to include the exact steps to take you from confused to confident. And the best part is after each live stream, you can hop on Zoom with us to ask your questions and get personalized answers. Don't miss out. Mark your calendar and subscribe now to this YouTube channel. Join our free community, and I'll say it louder for the people in the back. If you want to learn, lead, and level up your automation in your MLM company, or as an entrepreneur who could possibly be struggling in your business, we not only have the solution, we also have the experts. Yes, this is your sign to join us. Our entire team is live each weekday. So if you snooze, you will lose. I said what I said. You heard what you heard. Now do what you now know you need to do to get your assets in order. So as I said, come on into the room, be coachable, teachable, trainable, post your city and state for where you're catching this information from. Thank you to one of my clients and partners, Tim Tinker. Also to you, Granny, and to you, Shabuti. I hope I don't mess that up. Welcome, Blackberry. Welcome to each and every one of you, to my CTT squad members that are joining us inside of the community today as well. Wealth God's Way out of Brooklyn, New York, Dr. Regina Turner. So again, if you're interested in today's topic of the psychology of audience engagement, then I would appreciate it if you would come on into the room and post your city and state so that I can know where this information is reaching out here in these internet streets. So today we are actually going to discuss a little psychology trigger behind the way to keep your audience engaged and how to apply them to your particular brand or business strategy. And so today is actually for us both. Okay, you may be wondering why some brands have audiences that hang on to every single word that people are saying, but others struggle to get even a single like, let alone a comment or a share. Okay, I'm learning all about this, and I wanted to share with you my transparency as I go through this process so that it could actually translate down to what you could begin to do to implement those likes, those comments, and those shares on your streams, in your brand, throughout your business, so that you can continue to get that audience engagement. Okay. And so today is like learning the psychology behind the brand, behind the business, behind the audience, behind those who are watching your content, so that you can actually, move the needle inside of your business. So engagement isn't just about posting the content. It's about understanding more about your audience so that things can move forward. What is that ish? What is that zhuzh? What is that thing that people actually utilize within themselves that allow them to engage with you, that allow them to interact with you, that allow them to post, to comment, to share, right? And if you've ever wondered how to build loyalty that actually will engage your audience, then today, like I said, is for us. So I'm going to check my notes and make sure that I cover all of this information for you guys to be able to see this. Okay, we're going to talk a little bit about the science behind the engagement, those triggers that actually cause them to interact with you, some of the emotional triggers, some of the behavioral triggers, some storytelling strategies that you can implement, as well as how to build a community of reciprocity, right? when you're crafting your content and your call to actions, what will spark interaction? We're going to talk about that as well. And we're going to talk about some overcoming some objections. I'm noticing you guys are commenting and posting things about the objections that you're running into. So we're going to make sure to cover that today as well. So again, this is for us. Let's talk very quickly as we jump into the first segment of this, and that is, what exactly is that science that is behind the audience engagement? People want to feel connected to your content. They will engage when they feel connected. So when you call out their name, like Dr. Regina Turner, when you call out their name, Miss Cooper, when you call out their name, Tim, when you call out their name, they hear it and they are instantly triggered to look, to pay attention. So calling out their name is one of the ways that you can instantly begin to connect with your audience, right? This will increase when your brand is able to show relatability, authenticity, transparency. Like I say, I am no psychologist. I am no psychiatrist. I am not even in that realm, but I do understand that there is a psychology behind it. And as I began to learn this information, Charles and Eileen, I want to make sure that I share it with you guys so that you can do the exact same thing that I'm doing to build and grow and scale your brand, and how to, more importantly, master the steps that you're implementing so that you see results. All right. The brain craves dopamine spikes, right? From exciting, valuable content. So right now, if you're putting your information out and you're not seeing any engagement, then let's talk about some of the triggers that you could implement so that you can begin to see engagement. Curiosity, surprise, right? Normally we're live at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time giving you this information. And if you're used to typing in or checking in or going and coming over to this channel, Maggie, during this time, Irma, and you do not see the information, surprise, it looks as though I'm absent. Well, this week, we're actually in a 5-day virtual conference for Go High Level. And it's talking and speaking and hearing from the next level women of software and showing how we use all of these different softwares in our system. Surprise, I'm not there at 1 o'clock, but you're probably curious about where is she at? She's been so consistent all this time at 1 o'clock. Hello, here we are at 3 o'clock today. I'm going to ensure, Darlene, that I give you this information, Alan. I'm going to make sure, Mary, that you get this information, that I don't miss out on giving you this value. And when you know that I'm still going to show up and give you this information, then you'll go check the YouTube channel. You'll go check the Facebook page, or you'll go check out the LinkedIn profile to see the content that you've been receiving value from. You're going to be intrigued to go find out what was the topic of today, because you've already been engaged. And when you on that page and you're like, my goodness, look at all this content, binge watch it. Hello, go ahead and binge watch your Brand Master, okay? Also, when you're sharing content that tells the story and it allows the audience that's following the information to feel a part of what it is that you're sharing, they now can relate to it and remember it, right? If you can ensure that what you're telling them will allow them to remember the information, then they will remember it. They will relate to it and they will feel the desire to engage with it, okay? Also, reciprocity. A lot of you, I don't know if you understand the law of reciprocity. Give first, right? Then people will feel engaged or compelled to engage back, to give back. So this isn't always the case, but if you consistently give first, it will be an urging, it will be an empathetic response that people will want to give back. That's the law of reciprocity. So if you can continue to implement that throughout your business or your brand, the giving and so shall you receive method, then that allows you to get better engagement. And finally, when you create a community and you allow people to come into the community and begin to share their value similar to the value that you're sharing, people will engage when they feel seen and included. Hello there again, my friend Christopher. It's good to see your face again on TikTok. So again, when you continue to engage with people and give value to people, they too will engage back with you. All right. So I hope that makes sense to you guys. If you think about the content that you actually engage with the most, It's likely content that actually sparks either curiosity, emotion, relatability, or a sense of belonging somewhere along those lines. And that is what you're aiming for. I hope that makes sense to you guys. Okay. Let's move into another segment here that talks about how emotional triggers will influence the behavior of your followers, your prospects, your customers, your clients, whatever your reference is to them. Step one that I want you guys to begin to implement is ask yourself, do I, asking myself, use storytelling to evoke emotion? So you guys know that we've been on this branding journey for quite a bit of time. And what I wanted to do differently in my business or in my brand was put together a complete system of a 90-day plan so that you guys could walk along 5 times a week with me on this journey here in the new year, right? So that you could have actionable steps, but so that you could come into the community and you could actually network with other like-minded people who may be just starting out like yourself, and you will have actionable steps, downloadable checklists, and videos that are organized based on what you are saying that you need, right? We're not just in the group putting anything out. If you say you're having a problem with planning your content, then we go ahead and construct the blueprint for you to plan your content. If you say you're having trouble operating your StreamYard, then we provide videos, training, downloadable checklists to help you understand how to run StreamYard. This is the story. This is the method. This is the actual bones of why I created the community, because as you run into your problems or your pains, I want to make sure that we provide you every opportunity to reach the solution, right? When you take the opportunity to tell the personal or the customer transformation process, then others in the group can see the blueprint and follow along with you. So when you come into our community, you're going to see some brand new brands. You're going to see brand new data. You're going to see repeated short form, long form, printed content. Eventually, you're going to see a blog, and the podcast is coming so that you can see all the different ways that you can learn from the community and you can duplicate the process. That is the story behind why we created the community. So that, yes, I can answer that question and say, yes, I do utilize storytelling to evoke emotion because you guys may be struggling. And instead of allowing you to be in my community and continue to struggle, I'm making sure that I provide solutions. Number 2, ask yourself, do I tap into FOMO? And that's a fear of missing out, right? The way that you can tap into FOMO is use exclusivity. Only be available for a certain period of time. Only be available in a certain area. Only be available via utilizing a specific link. So that allows you to know, hey, I can get this information free all day on YouTube. However, in order for me to get the checklist that actually will show me how to implement the steps, I must join the community. Where is the community? It's the Learn, Lead, and Level Up community. So if you actually go to learnleadandlevelup.com and register for your free account, now you will be brought into our community and you can see an organized distribution of the videos, the reels, the Watch Me Work Wednesdays, the downloadable checklist in an organized fashion. You can go back to January and watch the entire series in January for branding foundations. You can move to February and you can actually see the entire series of content that was delivered, as well as access any of the downloadable checklists so that you can follow along and do the steps yourself. You can't get that on YouTube anymore. You can't get that on any of the open platforms now, because you need to come into the community to what? Belong, right? To be organized, to go ahead and be amongst others that are like you and be okay with sharing your pains and getting the solutions, right? So yes, I do tap into FOMO. Number 3, do I leverage reciprocity? That's the number 3 thing that you need to write down when you're thinking about your business or your brand. Do you leverage reciprocity? Do you give free value? Do you give tips, guides, insights, right? Do you encourage future engagement? So even though you guys are watching this live, I encourage you to come over to the YouTube channel and to answer today's question of the day in the comments below, right? So that I can actually reach out to you personally, so I can engage with you personally on that comment and say, okay, this is the answer to that question. This is how we could actually leverage that. Does that make sense, right? So yes, when you're asking yourself these questions, do you also leverage reciprocity? Do you go about those 3 steps? So step number 1 was, do you use storytelling? Step number 2 was, do you tap into FOMO? And step number 3 was, do you leverage reciprocity? And all of that is under the segment that we talked about, emotional triggers that you need to make sure are inside of your business or your brand. Thank you for letting me know that makes sense, Dr. Turner. I greatly appreciate it. So yes, indeed, actionable steps. Yes, absolutely. The law of reciprocity, give first. Okay. So let's move into the next segment that talks about emotion to connect with the audience, right? Now, let me ask you this question. Do you identify the emotions of your audience, right? And then do you connect with them? Is your audience primarily excited? Are they fearful of what's going on? Are they inspirational, meaning they're already there, their mindset is triggered, or are they just country funny like you, right? Once you know and you are able to identify the emotions of your audience, then you are available to respond in kind. My audience right now is primarily excited about moving forward, building their brand, right? They've gotten through the basics. Now they're into scaling or growing, right? Next, they're going to be into mastering the concepts of what it is they're due. They are eager. They are a slight bit apprehensive, but they are eager, right? So I know that. So I make sure that every question that gets asked, I implement and answer by saying, this is what you need to do. Step 1, 2, and 3, right? Once you get started on that path, come and join us in after office hours and let me see what you're doing, and I can help you along the way. I'm going to hear what their emotional status is, and I'm going to tap into that, right? And yes, as I said before, step 2 would be, again, using storytelling to create more of an emotional connection. Sharing moments from the journey, helping them understand that I see them, that I hear them, that I understand exactly where they are along that journey. It is extremely important for you to be able to do that in those first 3 steps of the triggers. And now, in understanding how to connect through those triggers, identify the emotion, use storytelling, and here in the last step, end with an open-ended question, right? That will also encourage engagement. To ease, about to struggle with it, okay? So when we're talking about overcoming objections, okay, I get this main objection a lot of the time. And I too truly have gone through this particular struggle. And that is, nobody engages with my content. I understand. The excuse that you could use for not putting your content out there is by saying people don't comment or share my post. There is nothing you can do to change someone else's activity. But what you can do is continue to put the information out there and then engage with them, give first, connect with them, give first, okay? Ask them questions that you know they actually can relate to and probably need your solution to, right? This will allow you to start first. Engagement starts with you. Engagement starts with me. I ask questions. I engage with others first. And then I can receive an interaction that would be considered a reward. Okay. So inside of the 5-day virtual challenge or virtual webinar that I'm watching, the first thing that I did was I immediately started posting every day that it goes live that I'm excited to be there, because I am. And then I asked the question, who else is excited about this information? And every single response I reply to. Why? Because this is a part of networking. This is a whole different room of individuals that my content otherwise would not reach if I didn't engage with them. And now that I'm engaging with them in the comments, my information is liable to show up on their feed now because I gave first and I was excited first and I asked them a question. So when you ask questions and you engage first, again, it's going to compel the other individual to respond. Okay. Also, another objection that you can overcome is you'll say, or you'll give the excuse, I don't know what content gets engagement. The first answer that I want to give you guys transparently is who cares? If you're being authentically and transparently you, who cares? Right? Because you are the one who wants to know the answer to a question that you may ask, whether other people want to know or not. But the second, more polished answer is to test and track. You can use analytics to see what's working, what posts, what videos, what content you're putting out, who's engaging with it and who's not. Like if I bring up my stats right now, again, I continue to be blown away that IG is responding as heavily as it is responding because I was just not a big IG person. Didn't think IG was going to do too much of anything. But I'm going to bring up the stats here from this past week where I've actually doubled down on the amount of content that I put out last week just so I could be able to review these stats with you. Sorry for you guys who are actually catching us on TikTok and on IG. I am not on IG live, but you know it's coming. And let's see if I can get the screen shared so you guys can see this information. And let me drop that off and away. All right, so here are some of the stats from how the social posts are performing from last week, right? And let me click reload here just to make sure we're good to go on the most recent bit of information here. All right, here we go. And so based on the information that we were putting out last week, it's only giving you this information 7 days at a time out of 139 posts. All of the data is up by hundreds, 200, 300% on Facebook in a week alone, 185% on Instagram, 520% on TikTok, 146% on YouTube, right? Again, the engagement is through the roof. 99 thumbs up, 854%. 36 comments on Facebook, 6 comments on IG, but again, through the roof. Impressions, 1.8 thousand. Impressions on IG. I'm really excited about that, right? 134 impressions on Facebook. And again, 1.5 thousand. That's over 1,500, right? On Instagram post reach and Facebook at 88. And finally, we're getting some new details down here. Again, these stats are through the roof. I'm excited to see it. My audience still is primarily males. Hey, y'all. Hey, so good to see you all. Okay. So the reason I'm sharing those stats with you, because it's letting you know that even though I doubled down on the amount of reels and shorts that I put out just to see if more would produce less. And it did not disappoint. More produced more. Okay. And the beauty is my system is automated to a point where as soon as I finish up, like today, with all of the streaming content, StreamYard's going to break this information up, give me the reels. I'm going to go and schedule them. If you want to see how I do that, go back and watch last week's Watch Me Works Wednesday, and it'll show you actually how I do that. So again, when you take the opportunity to test and track, the results will tell you if you're on the right track. Okay. And here in the last segment that I want to cover is I want to give you, 3 statements that you can actually use to spark more interaction. Okay. You've already heard me say step 1 is ask your open-ended questions. One example could be, what is your biggest struggle with audience engagement? What is your biggest struggle with prospecting new people? What is your biggest struggle, or what is your pain point, or what is the hardest thing that you are encountering right now in your business? ask the question. That's step number 1, right? Step number 2 is create a yes ladder of engagement, right? And that's where you say, hit the heart, hit the, what do they have on Facebook? The smiley face, the thumbs up, the sad face, the caring emoji, to move into a deeper engagement. Because if you don't know it, when you go on Facebook and when you leave those specific types of emojis, if you click on that share feature, you're able to see who left which emoji. And now you could actually move that conversation deeper, where a person could have responded with a sad face. You are actually able to engage further with them by saying, most of the people in this comment thought that was funny. What triggered you to give a, what did it call it? A sad face emoji, to enter a conversation with the person, deepening your engagement, right? You're going to ask for a yes ladder of engagement, meaning you're asking them to respond one way or another. And then however the audience responds, now you ask a question to take it deeper. All right, that's number 2. Number 3, you are actually able to gamify your engagement. And I know that sounds like a crazy terminology, but what that means is you can use polls, you can use quizzes, you can use countdowns, you can actually have a leaderboard that can track a lot of the engagement for you, and you can set up a structure that is automated in response, that actually triggers them to get access to a certain level of something when they hit a certain amount of points. This is automated inside of your system to, again, increase the engagement, to increase the availability for your community to feel like they belong, and what they're doing, how they're engaging is giving them some kind of dopamine rush, but it makes them feel seen and heard. Okay, you can do that inside of your system. So if you can actually craft those particular things, then you will be able to spark into interaction, increase your engagement, move forward, and have better engagement and loyalty within your community. Now, some of the objections that you may have is you may say, hey, I post and nobody's answering the quizzes. I'm asking, and nobody's really responding. Then I would suggest, and my notes say, one of the solutions is actually pay attention to what it is that you are asking and ensuring that you're asking it in a clear way, as clear a way as possible. My direction in each of the Watch Me Work Wednesdays for you to get the free checklist that goes along with this free content that I've just walked you through step by step is to look in the description below. When you look in the description below, you can click the link to come into the community, and now you will see all of the organized Watch Me Work Wednesdays, and now you can access those downloadable checklists. Now, if you're in the community, you don't have to use the landing page because the information is in there. But for those of you who actually listen to the Watch Me Work Wednesdays, most of the links are given in the video. So you don't even have to look down below, and it will allow you to land at a landing page. Now, that's a clear call to action that I actually spoke. And for the individual that lands on the landing page, voila, that person heard, was paying attention, and went through the funnel that I had set up for them. So when you're saying nobody listens, nobody responds, that's giving you the actual advantage to understand you have some unqualified people listening to your content. Okay. And now you need to make a pivot or a shift. Another thing you may say is, I really don't have a big enough audience. Okay. Engagement starts with small wins. Everybody started out with 1 or 2 comments. Everybody had to start out with 1 first. So do not negate, do not undervalue, do not devalue small, humble beginnings. You can't handle a massive growth right now anyway. Yes or yes. Okay. If 1,000 people hit your funnel right now, is it structured to automated follow-up? Or you're going to have to manually try to hurry up and come together and put together 1,000 comments, right? Don't devalue, the small, humble beginnings, because you can't handle massive growth right now when you're first starting out anyway. So be grateful for the one or two comments, because they will create momentum. And finally, the number one objective a lot of you say is, my audience doesn't really care about what I post. Then focus on those that do. Focus on the pain point that those people who are coming into your sphere are having, so that you can deliver exact results for that. And please, for the love of everything branding, do not forget to get their testimony, their social proof, their case study, their results, so that you can show this individual came in. This is what they had prior to me. This is how we worked on this step by step by step. This is how long it took. This is how much it cost. And these are their results, right? Because people don't care about that process in the middle. The reason you actually display the process is honestly to let people know they can't do all of the steps without the value that you're giving them. And it lets people know there is steps between 1 and 10. 2 and 9 are just as important as what you want to do and arriving at the end result. You must know the steps along the way. And if you could do it without receiving that person's content, it would be done. So don't think that the audience doesn't care about what you post, okay? They need to know the steps in your value so that they can get to the result that they desire, okay? So once you understand all of this engagement psychology that we just discussed today, and trust and believe, this is not my lane. Psychology is not my lane. I'm just telling you and giving you my transparency along this journey, helping you understand how we're arriving at each benchmark, each milestone, each touch point along the way, okay? So that you can understand this really is a game changer for you and your brand once you know how to utilize it. And that is the point of breaking down the way we break down things on Watch Me Work Wednesday, so that you get access to the valuable checklist by coming into the community and downloading that information and taking that piece of paper and looking at your brand and looking at what we're telling you to do and implementing each step-by-step process so you can get to a result. My hope is that you find it fun, that you find it educational, that you find it valuable, but most importantly, that you find it simplistic to follow along so that you can get to your exact end result. So the one question for today, I'll go ahead and post that up for Tuesday's questions of today as we begin to transition into after office hours. What's one thing that you can do today to improve your engagement with your audience? I'll let that continue to scroll on the screen. What's one thing that you can do today to actually move the needle in your business? What is one thing today that you can do to improve the engagement based on all of the tips that we discussed today? Okay. I would like for you guys to actually apply one of today's engagement strategies in your very next post. You can tag me if you want. Tag Martina Britt Yelverton so that I can see you actually implementing what it is that I'm helping you guys understand to do. You can either try using storytelling, you can use an emotion-driven approach, you can actually use one of the triggers that we discussed, but go ahead and get started on that today. Answer in the comment below. Join us in after office hours by going over to learnleadandlevelup.com and be prepared, right, to ask your questions in after office hours, in the discussion groups, and be prepared for our community to love on you. There's always a checklist that has been now implemented on the Watch Me Work Wednesdays, but you can only get it inside of the private community, okay? And that's available at learnleadandlevelup.com. It's a free community for you to ask your business and your brand questions. And my hope is that you will actually take some action today and you will change one of the triggers or storytelling methods or polls or quizzes or questions, something that you do to change up the engagement that you are currently seeking, right? And then that you go back and track your results to see what's working, okay? So I appreciate you guys who've shown me love, who've tapped the screen, who've shared the stream, who are chiming in on TikTok and who are chiming in on IG, who are also leaving comments and helping me get that healthy engagement on Facebook so this content can reach more people. We really do appreciate you engaging with us. I appreciate your time. Tomorrow we're live again at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This week right? Because we're in a 5-day conference from 12 to 2. So I'll see you guys at 3 p.m. tomorrow, and I'll open up the Zoom room when we finish up here live for those of you who are going to come into the community and to join us. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Thank you again for your time on today. Hey y'all, hey, Brandmaster Martina with Yelverton here, updating you about our daily live training and follow-up live open office hours. Join me every Tuesday through Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for live actionable lessons on building your brand from scratch. We'll cover everything from tools, strategies, and systems like Canva, StreamYard, Go High Level, AI technology, and more, to include the exact steps to take you from confused to confident. And the best part is after each live stream, you can hop on Zoom with us to ask your questions and get personalized answers. Don't miss out. Mark your calendar and subscribe now to this YouTube channel. Join our free community, and I'll say it louder for the people in the back. If you want to learn, lead, and level up your automation in your MLM company, or as an entrepreneur who could possibly be struggling in your business, we not only have the solution, we also have the experts. Yes, this is your sign to join us. Our entire team is live each weekday. So if you snooze, you will lose. I said what I said. You heard what you heard. Now do what you now know you need to do to get your assets in order.